Hi, I'm Laura Bast, the Assistant Editor at Cape Breton University Press, and joining me here today for a studio interview is author Philip Roy. Philip is the author of the best-selling Submarine Outlaw series. It is a series for young adults, and his most recent novel is Blood Brothers in Louisbourg. It's also for young adults, and it is a historical fiction set in Louisbourg, Nova Scotia, around the time of the 1745 siege. Can you talk a little bit about your choice to write about the battle, I guess, or why did you choose to write about history or this battle in particular?
One of the things that I really like about, or that I find fascinating, compelling about the battle of the first siege of Louisbourg, 1745, is the fact that it wasn't really a fight so much between the French and the English as much as it was between the French soldiers here and the New Englanders who had settled in New England, who had made their homes there, who really were investing their time, their blood, sweat, and tears in the soil of New England. And they were, I think the British managed to convince them that the French were a serious threat, that Louisbourg, the fortress of Louisbourg, was a threat, and that they ought to come up here and destroy it, or take it. So they did. So when I was a boy, I thought it was just a fight between the British and the French, part of the fight between the British and the French in North America. But it was different than that.
Right.
So when you get closer to when you go to the site and you look and see where all of the action took place, and you realize, no, this was a fight between people who had a vested interest in being on this continent and people who didn't. Because the soldiers and the people in the fortress, a lot of them weren't. They were here for a set period of time, many against their will. Right. Whereas the settlers coming up, and they outnumbered the British soldiers 6-1, they were, they were fighting, in a sense, to protect their own home across the way.
So that's a lot to convey. Do you, in one...
In a young adult novel?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's always behind, there's always more meaning and content and ideas and themes behind the dialogues and the storyline.
I mean, are you hoping to flesh it out like in another novel, or keep writing this? Yeah. Yes,
but I never know how that's going to turn out, ahead of time. I don't know, and that's part of the fun. Part of the fun, especially I think, of young adult novels, where I tend to think that there's kind of more freedom to write in a fun way. Certainly compared to, say, writing a non-fiction historical book about the French and English in Canada.